everybody, this is Jason out in Colorado. Out here just outside of Rye. Got a presentation tonight for outdoor survival skills, and I got several hours to burn, so I figured I'd go out on a little hike. Little rain. Weather's not too horrible, it's not too cold, but probably get a little wet. But, you know, if you're not training in bad weather, are you really training? So, heading up a little trailhead outside of town a little ways, and figured I'd get some dirt time out in the mountains. So yesterday I had a presentation about the same thing, and I was asked, what do I take out on a day hike? Typically, if I'm in a familiar area, just my top 10 items. Usually weighs, you know, maybe 10 pounds. But, you know, I'm out in unfamiliar area, bad weather, so I brought more. I've got my full pack on me, my full kit. It probably weighs, I don't know, 35, 40 pounds. But got rain gear, I've got cold weather gear, I've got shelter, got water, got enough food for probably 2 days, even though I'm only going to be out here for a couple hours. But you never know what's going to happen. You should always be prepared to spend the night somewhere. Got my knife, got my fire starting materials, and my ferro rod, matches, lighter, tinder, all that's on my pack. I got my rain poncho, rain gear. Got an extra set of wool socks. What else? Got my secondary knife. Got my water filter or water purification. Phew, hill's kicking my butt. Got my med kit. Notice I call it a med kit, not a first aid kit. Most people, when you say first aid kit, they're thinking band-aids and tweezers. But, you know, I've got splints, tourniquets, and everything else in between. But let's see, got my war bonnet with the under quilt, the winter liner, or the winter over liner, the well, let's see, it's the war bonnet Blackbird XLC, and the Superfly tarp. So if I did end up having to stay out here, I feel I'd be pretty warm. Got enough clothes to keep me warm through the night. And I got my wits and a bunch of other miscellaneous stuff. So I continue climbing up this hill, mountain, whatever you want to call it. Not been this way before, so hopefully I'll get a nice good view up here, and I'll check in from time to time and see what I got going on. So I'll see you in a little bit. There's some usnea or old man beard. The other plant I just looked at real quick was great mullein. A lot of down trees through here. Looks like they're uprooted. So maybe some time ago, high winds, possibly a microburst or a small tornado came through here. Who knows? Or a lot of moisture, a lot of rain, and caused the ground to be unstable, and all these trees fell over. Who knows? So we got a couple trails here, one going downhill and one going uphill. Downhill's always easier, but that means I got to climb back up coming back, and I'm not always a big fan of coming up on the way back, so I'm going to go up on the way out. That way it's an easier hike coming back out. So there's some second year growth for great mullein. The first year growth, we got some right here actually. So first year growth just as the leaves, and then second year comes up like that. That guy right there's 8 feet tall, but a whole bunch of them out there. You heard me huffing and puffing on that climb coming up. If you were asthmatic and got up here and were having trouble breathing, you could take these leaves right here and you could either boil them up and make a tea out of them, or you can smoke them. Seems kind of counterintuitive, but inhaling the smoke from that could open up your lungs. And if you're bad off and you didn't have your medication with you, this could save your life. Same thing with those leaves there. It makes a really good tea. Tastes a lot like the tea that you would get in the store, so it's not like it's going to be nasty. It's actually nice and flavorful. The seeds on this though are poisonous, so careful. Don't eat the seeds. Got some nice land back here. Nice wilderness area. Hoping to see some animals, but being right in hunting season, they're a little spooked. But this is great area for elk. We got thick timber, they can get away in pretty quick. Be amazed on how fast they disappear. They got open areas for bedding down. They like to be kind of out in the open whenever they can, and they really love aspen trees. Haven't seen any tracks yet, so that's not too promising. Another thing you might see out here is black bear. So now, when you're out hiking, always keep your head up, always look around. You don't want to be trudging along and come face to face with a big predator. Probably a mountain lion out here, a coyote, bobcat, all common animals for Colorado. Elk, deer. I don't know if there's any moose in this area, but it is possible. Looks like we got some kinnikinnick. I don't see any berries, which are edible, but you can smoke the bark on these. Native Americans will smoke that bark, maybe the leaves a little bit, but it's kind of a ground cover. A little patch of it right here, not too much. Got some deer bounding through the trees up here in front of me. You see them crossing right there? Counted 3 of them. Maybe I'll get closer and see them again, but usually once you see them, they spot you like that and they head off. They pretty much disappear. So we'll see. Yeah, they came up over this ridge and went down the other side and they're gone. I ain't chasing them down there. Could have gone up that way. Walk up here a little bit. See. Ground disturbed here a little bit. He might have come up this way. Yeah. There's his tracks. See that right there? There's some tracks. And right there. So he run up this way. Oh. Disappear so quick in these woods. Looks like I got some more spoor here. The ground's tore up a little bit. Something disturbed it. Again, right there. And that looks kind of old. I think he came out this way. You know. And gone. I'm gonna sit over here, take a break, and get some water. So I just chased that deer off into the woods, or followed his trail off into some obscure trail off of the main trail. But in my classes, I teach people that part of survival is scavenging. Using what you can find out in the wilderness. And I tell people, you know, you can find plastic bottles anywhere. And where is that? Right there. Found me a big old 2-liter bottle. You can use that, you know, to carry water with, obviously, but you can always also turn that into a water filter. Water filter is not a water purifier, but you know, if you got sediment and some nasty smelling, nasty tasting water, you know, you can run water through that, put charcoal in it, and the charcoal will take out the smell and the taste. Still not the best stuff to drink. You should boil it afterwards if you can boil it. If you have charcoal, you should be able to boil that, you know, have a fire going. But at least you can filter your water, and then assuming you have a canteen or a cup or a metal pot, now you've got water that's not dirty, doesn't smell bad, and now once you boil it, it's pure. So anybody that's taken my classes and looked at me sideways when I said that you could find plastic water bottles up on the top of a mountain, there's proof. So just remember, survival, part of survival is scavenging. Keep an eye out for plastic bottles, beer cans, tin cans, anything that you could potentially use as a tool should you be in a situation where you might need something. Another quick tip, I got up here and decided to shed my underlayer. I was wearing a cotton t-shirt, big no-no out here this time of year. Cotton absorbs water, so sweating from coming up that hill, my shirt was pretty soaked, so I took it off and have my mid layer, which is poly, so I've got it on, and then, you know, I got my waterproof shell right there. It's breathable, so now I should be able to properly expel water, wick water away from my body, so that I won't get cold. So remember, out in the backcountry, cotton's a no-no, especially, you know, out in Colorado where the weather's cold. Make sure you're wearing the right the right layers. I've got backups in my backpack, but won't need them. I'm only going to be out here for a little while longer, and then have to head back into town for my presentation. But sit here for a minute, I'll drink some water, and I'll head down the trail again a little bit further, see what I can find. So I went and picked up that soda bottle, and definitely not going to use something like this for a water filter. You got some chew in the bottom, no big deal. It's missing its cap. Might be hard to fashion something to filter it, but we got a couple rodents that climbed in there and died. So now we got, you know, potential for a disease and bacteria, viruses. So no go on something like that to use it for a water filter. So we would discard this and not use it. Alright, headed back to the main trail where I followed them deer off. Something to keep in mind when you walk off a trail like I did, make sure you keep your bearing and know where you're going so you can get back to that trail. You don't want to turn around and end up lost. So make sure you're paying attention to your surroundings so you can get home. Just go back the way you came. You know, make sure, no point in taking shortcuts and where you think you might have gone. Just go head on straight on back. Remember key landmarks, things you saw on the way. There's that ground that we saw first. The deer disturbed, you know, things that you're going to recognize. You know, obviously seeing something on the ground is not going to be easy, but just pay attention. Had the aspen trees off to my left, a little valley, and within moments I'm back to my trail where we saw the deer taken off to begin with. That's where I came from. This is where we saw the deer. I'm gonna head on a little bit further. Skirt this grove here. These transition areas are where you can spot wildlife a lot of times. I make an awful lot of noise, so probably ain't gonna see anything, but you never know. See these markings on the trees here. Right here. That's from Sasquatch. Just kidding. The elk like to chew on these trees, rub their antlers on them, get the velvet off. But these, these are chews. So, elk are out here. Those are pretty old, earlier in the year. They're out here. Grass is laid down in here. Yep. Got some droppings. So it looks like something slept here recently. That's the kind of stuff you look for when you're trying to find animals. It's where they might have bedded down. Alright. Head back over the trail. So sit down on the side of the trail, found some berries. I think these are snowberries. They are poisonous. They are in fact snowberries. I think the rule of thumb, I believe 80% of white berries are poisonous. That means 20% are edible. 50% of red berries are edible. Means 50% are poisonous. And 80% of blackberries are edible. So 20% are poisonous. So before you put anything in your mouth, make sure you know what it is you're eating. Remember, these snowberries, I believe, and those are poisonous. That's right here, juniper, does produce berries. That's what they make gin out of, or can make a gin out of, and those are edible. They don't taste too great. Some people like them, but I think they're pretty horrible. But just remember, probably should stay away from white berries. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and turn back around. I got to get back to town. Temperature's dropping pretty quick. I see a storm cloud up on the top of the hill above. I saw some flurries, so snow's coming in. Part of hiking and survival is knowing when to turn around and call it quits. Don't let your ego get in the way. Especially, I got someplace to be here in a couple hours. I got to head back down and get cleaned up. But hopefully you enjoyed this little adventure of mine. I know I was not here for very long. Gave you a few tips and whatnot. But thanks for joining me. I'm gonna head back down the mountain. Maybe I'll see something along the way. But again, thanks for joining me, and until next time, have a great day.